Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to live stream build part 2 of the Axial SCX10iii base camp. We've gotten the shocks filled with oil, and we're now just going to kind of finish them up. I have one of them left to do that I left to kind of just show how it works, and then we're going to go from there. So I've got my body painted. I also did that while I was away. So I got a matte coat on it and just quick spray paint, faked it till I made it, kind of a deal. Started with a little bit of gunmetal, just sprayed around, then some lime green and some white. And then I backed it with some metallic black, and wherever the openings were, it filled those in. And then I also came back and sprayed the outside in spots with the black before I hit it with the Tester's dull spray. So we dulled it at the end just to kind of give it that junky look, which is what we were going for. So we're back. We had an audio issue on the last one, so we're just going to start over. It just seemed easier for the sake of anybody watching this later. I know during lives you guys are a little bit forgiving, but if somebody's watching afterward, they're going to be like, what the heck, when's the audio going to come back? And then they'll bail because they won't know. Anyway, so I usually go, like I said, about halfway, and then I'll add a little bit of oil. Now I probably need to add some and bleed it back out because we just did it a second ago. But we'll just top that up just till it's a little bit right there at the top, kind of holding on is what I'll usually go to. And then we'll screw it down. They got this kind of cool cap now. It's a bleeder cap, and there's not the seal that they used to use, the little bubble one. And so we'll get it on here most of the way. Some's already coming out. Before I snug it down, though, I'm just going to push up on this and get the rest of that oil there to bleed out. It's a little messy. I should have had my paper towel ready. I did in the last start, but I don't know where I just set it, actually. So there we go. That's all right. We'll just clean everything up with it. So we'll make sure it's nice and snug. Opens up. Compresses all the way. No real pushback. So we should be good to go with that shock. The other ones are done already as well. Now we have to add the springs and the little retainers for those springs, which we've already popped off of here. Oh, you know what I forgot, though? And all of them. Silly me. I forgot to add these little O-rings to the top to seat it on. See, that's why I needed the directions out. So that is Tony 2 times number 3, guys. Those of you who are counting, that one I blame on the little break ahead in between stuff. So we're gonna put this back in on here. And put this O-ring up in there. This would be a green slime moment as well. Could slime that up. Bad Tony. Oh, look at that. See, now it's all jacked up. So we're going to open this up a little bit. Leave the air and any oil out. And we're going to have to redo this whole shock. Way to go. Hey, Travis. Now we're good. John says, good luck. Our oil level should still be pretty good. If you green slime these, you stand less of a chance of leakage. pushing too much. So it still had too much in there. I like it. Happy with that. Green slime. What's going on, Mere Deep? We're just redoing the part that I messed up here. Happy? So everybody gets to see all of them being built now. The only part that I didn't show in the last one. Green slime. Go on most of the way. Bleed it out. Happy. All right. Now we're going to do the shock springs here, and they all appear to be yellow and stuck together quite good. So let's start by trying to get these apart with my slippery fingers here. There's one. Two. Three. All right. Bingo. I'm just going to have to pull these up on here. Drop these little collars over, and then we're going to be able to put a screw through to hold it in place so we don't lose them, which is nice. But first we'll install all the springs. Do you guys do the color of the spring toward the bottom, or do you do it toward the top? Do you hide it at the bottom, or do you leave it up at the top? Curious what your preference is. What's going on, John? Travis? Oh, Travis, I just saw your message as I was going through my phone. I do have kingpins. I have to find them, but I have them. They're probably still in the RV from in the bag of the LMT stuff I took to Horizon RC Fest. All right. Those feel really stiff. I think I'm pretty much just going to ride them all the way up. That's what I think. All right. Hey, Owen. Hey, I did see your message too, man. Yeah. Primal RC is going to be there. Going to be awesome. All right, so that's done, except now the last thing we have to do is add those screws, which is like a 1.5. We're just going to hammer these in. Kurt's RCs, what's up? We're just trying to get this thing hammered out to take with us to Axialfest to run there. Get some cool footage of it running. This little tray has a magnet here at the base of it. That you can see the oil things are stacked in. There's several. I asked earlier who was going to be going to Axialfest Badlands. Who's the East Coast or Midwester from the Midwest here that's planning to go. I don't have much time, and I got 2 builds I'm trying to get ready for it. Jeff Makovich is back. Tank RC, what's up, man? Did I pull? Yeah, I pulled the protective from the outside of the body, except I cut out the windows. So that's one of the tricks, is the protective film. That's probably what they're asking. But I cut it around here, so when I peel this off, it'll be clear through the window. You could smoke it, I guess, if you wanted it to, but I wanted to have the clear windows. So I left those on. I guess I can start peeling this stuff off. I'm going to call it good enough for the body at this point. So give you guys a little glimpse. I don't usually like to leave these on too long. I feel like they're harder to get off. I usually peel them pretty soon after paint. So give you guys the first look on the live before we move on to the transmission here. This is part of the build, so if I'd had time, I'd have tried to clean that Proline body. I actually like the one that they used in the actual video a lot. I think I entered the win. When I saw it, I helped to edit that video for them for the release, and I got to see that body in the video, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so you can see how clear that is versus this is it all dusted up. I thought about one of the things you can do too is I could have just done like the windshield wiper spots left on there, and then it would kind of make it look, the rest of it look dirty and fogged up a little bit. But I chose not to do that. So it's clear. But it's just like most of my stuff, kind of the grunge look. It's kind of my flair. Overspray, all kinds of stuff like that. That's living in my world. So yeah, just quick air, and then came back on the outside with black so it can scratch off and whatnot. Doing my thing. All right. Travis is not going to Axialfest. He did just come down to Horizon RC Fest, though. What motor and ESC combo? That is the question. That has not been answered yet. I have a few options that I brought up here. So, we'll see. I may rob from that guy. The Gen 8 has a Spectrum system in it. Not the 2-in-1, but their brushless censored one. Or down here, I've got the Ecto that has the 2-in-1 system in it. Or over here set up, I have the Furitech ones. So kind of leaning toward putting that in, Outrunner. But still undecided. All right, last thing, and let's move on from this. It's going to be these little pillow ball pieces that are going to press into here. I have not done these with this tool yet. I don't know. Oh yeah, that worked perfect. That'll do. Just using this little, dropped that one. Using the shock plier tool. Dropping them in. I literally dropped that one in there. Outrunner for the win, says Kurtz RC. Yeah, I'm going back to the larger size one. I thought that the smaller footprint would be better, but it can't hold up to the weight of the vehicles that I run, and so it wasn't giving me the drag brake that I needed, which should be fine for this. It's not like a comp truck, but that's why I did switch out of that one for my my comp truck. I took it up to crawler space. Which, speaking of crawler space, they just dropped an awesome video Dave did showing off his store and the stuff that they got going there with the mini Z's. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so those are the shocks built. So I did think of one thing when we were talking earlier about the axles, and I did go in from the front for these. The one possible problem with choosing to do that screw from the front is going to be the bar is going to be going right across here for the steering. So that could make it hard to get at. But if you broke one of these, your chances are you're taking this off anyway, or you can move it out of the way. So yeah, you're going to have to remove this to get this off. So that's not really a big deal. But yeah, we put these on backwards. Don't tell anybody. Ignored the directions. That doesn't count as a Tony 2 time. All right, bag C. It feels good to move on. I'm going to put the ones that are done back into the box. Now we're moving on to bag C. I still have 2 leftover E-clips. Axial, if these turn out to be extras, I love you. I love you. If they turn out to be used somewhere else, then I may still love you if it's a cool, easy build, but maybe just a little less. I'll put these down in here where I'm keeping my parts. All right. I keep that tray off to the back as an extra. These oils we're done with, so they'll go back to the box. The grease we haven't been using, so we'll put it over there as well. And directions are there. A few extras left of this one I'm just going to get rid of because I don't want all this clutter in my space. And then we're going to open up bag C into this part of the tray. I got my tools on this half of the tray. So, putting this to use. We may switch back. It may not be as necessary now that we're not doing the shocks, but it's here. I already moved everything for it, so we're just going to roll with it. I do like the multiple spots I have. All right. Over there. Now, there's potential that I'm going to come into a little bit of a folly here that you guys wouldn't have. So, unless it happens, we're not going to talk about it. But everything has been addressed by them, and that was part of, there's a little delay in the release, which is good for you guys. Actually wanting to make sure everything was perfect for your builds. All right, let's dump all these down here. That looked like another O-ring, or E-clip. So I think they gave me extra E-clips, and I'm super happy about that. Yes, but Darwin, you could get those from the backside if you had a ball end. What's going on, North Rock? Brian, I saw you commenting earlier. Trail crawlers, what's up? Darwin Bonke. I just answered your question, but yes. So the first time at Axialfest this year, what are the most to-do things? Or the most do things? Just crawl, man. Have fun. Find people. There's, you know, the hangouts at night where everybody gets together and they do giveaways. You don't want to miss that. If you've got trucks with lights on them, then there's a night. I'm going to actually, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this back. I'm going to work off of this one. So, rearrange a few things on the desk. knock off my wallet. Or no, actually that was the battery pack for the phone. All right. Make sure you guys are able to see here. That seems like the ideal spot. Doesn't take much to make you super happy. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, Jeff. I'm a pretty easy going guy for the most part. So know that going into any of my reviews. It doesn't take a whole lot to make me happy. I just have fun with the hobby in general. All right, so something that looks like this goes to something that's not been made yet. So we're gonna take this and this pin and some bearings and some other pieces. This little pin, go not through that one, through this one, like so. We're going to drop this guy on top of that. Chink. So again, there's a little pin you got to have in there. It drops on there. And then we're going to put one of the bearings on. So slide down there. You'll see where there's a pin that's going to, or a little E-clip's going to go. We're also going to put one up on the back of this. So like looking kind of like this. Man, everything's so backwards to me. Like that. Then that is it currently for that. And we're going to take this guy. It's going to drop in here. See the 4 holes, got to line them up. And we're going to screw those in with the tiny little screws that they give us for that. And these have the larger head on them. They're not the button heads. They're like cap heads. Is that what they call these ones? All you guys out there. Gosh. So it's not the rounded one. It's the flat button one or cap, one of those two. You guys know your stuff. That's going to be a 1.5 millimeter again. And we need to thread lock this. So they gave us a nice little thing of thread lock that I have gone ahead and lost, but I found my Vibratite, which makes me very happy to have again. So yes, use this for a bunch of them here. Now, it's awesome to have either nice fitting bits like this or magnetized ones, because the easiest way to really get all this stuff in is not with your hand. So this is the part that I was wondering about. And this is the part that they fixed. So on mine, this is the part that's a problem. So I need to grind these off, or I just happen to have this TRX4 kit here. With screws that are the right size to go in there. So I'm going to go ahead and make that my option instead of grinding them off. Again, this would not be an issue for you. So what happened for me was I put this screw in and it didn't seat right. And they've addressed the problem with the manufacturing and all of that. And they've fixed it all for you guys. I'm taking a plan B route, which is I have other screw kits. These are 2.5 millimeters, so it's kind of an odd size, but these ones do go, they fit the right length. Oh, they don't. Not seated. I need shorter than that even. Do I have shorter than that? No. Oh, actually. So this is the part of the video where you'd be like, cut, and... But I actually think it's cool to leave in because they get it right, which is good. So I do have a Dremel up here in case this happened. All right, so I have some more of these ones in here, and they look way shorter. So I think this, and I might just go get, I have more of these screw kits, so I might just go get them to just address the problem this way instead of grinding, because Dremel and grinding, not my favorite thing to do on live stream. I guess I'd only have 2 left to do. We'll see. If this one works, I'll use it as a template for the other ones. Still a little too long. All right, so, oh, that one actually went in. That worked. Okay. So if I just use that as my template, we'll be good to go. But I do have to cut too. All right. Let's get to doing some man tool stuff here, guys. Let's see if I have any in here. Got this. Got this. And this. I might just see if I can just, they're pretty small. I might be able to just take it down with what's on there if I hold it. Safety first, came prepared. Check me out. How's that look? All right. So, one of those is my template, this guy. Actually, they look the same length. What's this long one? There's too short. Maybe I grabbed the wrong one? Let's just see what we're doing here. I see several short ones like that, and I think I had to fight it a little at the end. We got it. I have to, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh no, we're good. We're good. I was using a longer screw. Hey, VMB Speed. This one's not seated yet. I'm just kind of forcing it in. Ah, that's why you don't force it in. Well, we're going to 3-screw this guy. And I am going to grind this even further down than it was. Just take a few off. The other two went on all right. All right, everybody, warning, warning. You want to turn down your volume right now. See if that's better. Warm, that's for sure. Feel like I need a little more. Again, this has been addressed. It's been fixed. These ones came out, and it will not be an issue in all the kits. All right. Let us see. We're so close. Yeah, these headphones or these earbuds might help with it. I think that seemed to bid. All right. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. We could count that as my 4th mistake if we want. You guys decide. Is that Tony 2 times number 4? I'm not really doing it again because I broke it. Yikes. C2. These directions are a lot more complicated. So bearings and gears and posts and all kinds of good stuff. Kinds of good stuff going in here. So they want us to grease this with the black grease. And we say we're going to up the ante, give it a little bit of our udder butter. And top one looks like it goes all the way in the top there. Some of you guys have already built these in other cars, so you'll know what's going on. Other people will be like me and trying to figure it out as you go. Looks like we got this guy. Gonna get a bearing, decent sized bearing in it. Get a little bit more grease. Bearing, that one didn't fit. That one will fit. If I line it up straight. Bam. It's gonna take a post through it. Wham. You get a bearing on this side. So look at them closer here. 1, 2, 1, 3. That looks like these little guys here. That. And then seat in here. Like so. There's optional gearing you can use for portal axles, and there's extra gears that would go in here. This is for standard gearing, but that's kind of what we're looking at so far. Next, we're going to put in this larger bearing here. A little grease on it, slide it in, like so. Then we've got what looks like this bearing gear sitting in here. It's the one that we built with those screws that I did. Rocking and rolling there. Then it's going to get this little bearing. Again, greasing these as I go. Just getting a little grease on there. And this big bearing will go on the outside of that. Move it up. Making sure. I still have one bearing left. Bearing. Did I miss one underneath this? Nope. That bearing seated in there. Here. Just double checking ourselves. May go in this next step actually. Yes, it does actually go in the next step. Okay. I'm going to clean off my hands really quick. JMRCs, it ain't worth doing unless you do it twice. That's how we do around here. We do things 2 times. All right. So I feel pretty good about where that is. Next up, they're showing us buttoning it closed. All right. Take this out of the bag. A part that you got to grab out of there. Everything's going to line up on that. Click together. So I think the next part will have the dig unit is where we're going to have the other parts that are left. All right. Not there it went. I was going to say it's not seating. And then it just closed up. So now we take some of these screws that are 12 millimeters that look like this. And we're going to thread in there. So we're going to switch over to our 2 mil. 3. The red and white stripes are the MIP 2 mil. Tony 2 mil. And we're going to just put those in, kick over to high speed, and we're going to drive these things in there. I wish I had my calipers working up here. The battery died in them. So I'm actually going to set these screws up so I can see what lengths are what, and then we're going to go from there. I feel like those are the 12, just based on all the mini stuff I built. We do a lot of the 10 and 12 mil length. I don't know the actual size on here. Looks like it's actual size on the book, so looks like we're good. So we're just putting 3 in for now. That's all they're showing. So those top 3 screws are in. And I'm going to tell my alarm system to shut up for a little second. Yes, Jim's Hobbies, they are good about the size matching. They do that well. All right, so C3, here we go. This guy, short side of it goes in here. So I'm seeing. And we're going to take this long piece guy. It looks like it goes up here, sticking out, because we're going to ride this piece. It's going to lock into guy in there. It goes. And then this happy little guy. Looks like it rides in with it. To be able to move it. Come on. So, like that. That's what I'm seeing, at least. Looks like there's a dig-a-dang E-clip. It's going to slide onto this guy. So let's get some of our, the other stuff works good. Red and Tacky also works pretty good on E-clips. Or the Utter Butter is what I'm using. It's tacky like it. And we're just going to hold that E-clip on there. And I'm going to shoot it around the room. E-clip, holding that little guy on right here. And then they show this happy piece sliding on here. Am I wrong about that? Does this piece sit outside of that? There's no way. No, I had it right. I had it right. I think. It doesn't feel right. Somebody tell me, am I using it wrong? I'm doing it wrong. Something ain't adding up. It looks like this is supposed to lock. Lock onto this. Nope. Maybe I'm doing it right and it just doesn't feel right. You guys ever done that where you're doing something right but it feels wrong? Kind of where I'm at. Because this part doesn't feel right. Flip the part that the shifter fork. Right. All right, so here's what they got. So we got that piece going in. This piece is going into that upper right part, which we did. This looks like it should fit in there, but maybe not. Maybe this goes on and this goes on. But that wouldn't make sense because the E-clip is coming after this piece. But if it's in like this, then it's locked. It can't actually. This feels like it should go here. Doesn't catch anything. Maybe it doesn't have to. Seems weird that has teeth on it though. It feels like it should catch on that piece, that shifter, and it should push in or out but it doesn't catch anyway. You had the bit right, flip around the part that on the output shaft. Oh, gosh, that is directional. Wow, okay. So this piece here is directional. They look very similar, but it doesn't lock onto one side and it locks onto the other. Wild. Okay, well, thank you. I would have never guessed that that part was directional like that. That's wild. Definitely didn't look it. So, of course, now it's not. Now it's not connecting again. Oh, I know. When this pulls out, it'll connect and lock. But it won't lock when it goes in. Duh. All right, so it was right either way. Never mind. It's right. I was doing it right. It's when this pulls out that it locks. Duh. Okay. Makes sense. Took me a minute there. Took me a minute to figure that out. Now our bearing's going to go on. And all of you are a little dumber for having watched me figure that out. Good, good, good. So, we have to somehow line this up. So, So, but I'm wondering, should have pulled that apart. Shouldn't have pulled that apart. Stop wondering, Tony. Leave it together. Leave it all together. All right. We make the mistakes so you don't have to. If you're watching this, I would have edited all this out if it wasn't a live stream, just so you know. There it goes. Bam. Come on, let's see. There it went. Woo. So I need to line up these screw holes, though. That's what I was trying to do. There it was. Yeah. All right, so now putting two short screws. The 1/1/8 go into here. But I don't feel like they hit anything. There it went. So I'll lock that in. By putting these screws in, what I did is I pulled this out. It after I lined up the screw hole, pulled this out, and it jammed the piece up so I could put those two screws in, those short ones, so that it'll lock in when it actually hits there. Bam, locked right there. But the front still moves. Cool. That is working like it should. Locked, free spinning. Perfect. Okay. Now we do the two really long 25mm ones into here. Yeah, and I am using a ball head on here because I don't know where my 2mm. This is it. This is better to use. Darwin's right. Ball head when you don't need one is unnecessary and potentially problematic. All right. Now we're doing the one other 12mm one that we had stored away from this. There's four. It's going to go right in the top. And it's buttoned up. Now we just have to put on the pieces that go to this, which look kind of like this. So there's a little spot on here where you can grab onto, or you could use shock pliers, but there's a little flat spot on there. So we're just going to grab it like that and wish that there was a tool for doing this one. And wonder, just maybe, might our other bit, oh, where did I put that? So I have that, oh, this tool here. Is it kind of, oh, it does work, kind of. It kind of does work. Sorry if you don't have one of these pieces. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, it's not working very good. The calamity of errors here. There it went. We got bite. We got it to bite. All right. Jeff Makovich, in my head, I've already edited that part out. There we go. So I feel okay about that. Now we're supposed to take another piece. There are two pieces that show on here. Those are servo horn pieces. There's the plastic piece. Ah, fell out in the bag. Ooh, I gotta look for that forever. All right, so this piece is gonna go on like this. And there's a long screw here that's gonna hold this in. And then we're gonna be able to grab this with a, what is it? The servo horn that they have on here. It's gonna slide over this thing. And we'll be good to go. Bam. Dig unit is done for the build. Now we have to finish the rest of this. All right. Plate. Make sure we got this the right way so we don't do this 2 times. Bam, it's going to go like this. Feel like that. It's pretty shaped where it'll only happen one way. Hold on 1 second here. Snooze. This is going into plastic, so we don't need to put Loctite on these. That one is too short. These are booked as a reference over here on the sides. That one's the right size. There we go. I see them all now. One. So you could just take these screws and set them on the directions on the screw that's drawn there, and that will give you the right size to make sure you're using the proper screws as you go. It's good. Just hand tighten them the rest of the way. Just make sure they're snug. Don't want to over tighten because we're into plastic. Okay, now we've got this little gripper guy here. It's tri-piece. Line this up. push a little harder. I'll leave it so we can read the number, the tooth number out, 56 tooth. And then it shows just putting the nut on to this piece, but they do give you a spring. Which is not used for this. So we're just going to lock this down. Spring, I thought maybe it was a slipper thing, but it is not. So this is where we need our 7mm. And if you're in the market for tools, these ProTech come highly recommended by me. One of the best. I use the Vanquish. I have Vanquish and I have MIP. I prefer the Vanquish tools for my hexes. With this, the weighting on them is amazing. The machining, and then they've got a bearing back here so you can push down and spin with your fingers. Oh, these things are worth the investment. They are not cheap. I would buy them again. And in fact, I have. This is my second set of them. All right, so this looks good. This is where we have to make decisions. There are decisions that have to be made, and then we are in the process of making them. What motor system do I go with? Let me see here. I'll walk over and we'll take a look. Everything's still working. Audio still good? I have a brush system I could use. Outrunner. We're going to use whatever gear they give us with it, I think. Look at all the tools I got going on right now. So many. So I'm leaning toward this big guy here. This sensor 1400 kV motor. Outrunner. Plugged into this guy. That's what I'm leaning toward. Darwin, what do you think we'll keep up with that Bomber 2700 on 4S? Oh, I got stuff for that. Huh? Maybe? What's this? This is an option. Stealing this one is also an option. Hey, there's my 3S. Helium battery. I was wondering where that was. I'm going to need that. So I've got this one here. And this guy is a 1400 kV, 2-in-1. I could use. Very simple. I kind of don't want to take that one apart. It's got that one set up how I want. Let's do this. Let's see if I can mount, if these motor screws work, we'll do this one, if they work together. So they give us these guys here. $1,200 too slow, or $1,400 too slow. I don't know what else I have. I have like brushed systems I could put in, I guess, that I've taken out of stuff when I put these in. Oh, it looks like it works. All right, I think we'll go with this, see what happens. So, well, I just wasn't sure if the threading was good on this. That was it, John. Nothing big. Just a quick question of whether or not they use the same screw hole sizes for the motor. And it appears they did, so we're gonna go with it. With the Capra, on the first time that I did the Furatech system, the motor used a different screw size. And so then when I put on their new system that Furatech makes, it actually goes back to the screw size of the original motor, which was tough because I don't know where I put those when I did when I converted it. So, oops. I was trying to figure out what was going wrong. What was my problem? And I messaged them and they said, oh, well, we went back to make it easier for people, which I love. I'm all about easier for people. Whatever makes an upgrade easy, I like. So if companies are thinking about that, I love that. So far, this build, except that one dig unit, gave me a little run for my money as far as brain power goes. All right. Try to tighten this up. Screw kit fixes everything. It does, except that the UTB uses like 2.5 millimeter stuff and weird stuff. That little UTB 18th scale. I don't remember what I ended up using. I found something in a kit. Took me a bit though. All right. A little tight. A little too tight. Here we go. Gotta get that little wiggle. I lost it when I tightened it down though. There it is. Boom. Just a little bit. Little bit of play I like. All right. Look at that. It's so smooth. And these ones are not nearly as loud as other Outrunners, so I'm not going to kill myself too much for choosing it. Okay, directions. Back to the directions. Sorry for that slowdown there. So there's a lockout here that you can bolt on if you don't want to do the dig, it looks like. Yeah, dig lockout bracket. Or we've got our servo mount, which is here, which I did not build yet. These look like they take little mini servos. We definitely have some of those around, don't we? New builds for Axialfest is always the way to go. Yeah. Well, Pablo was building me one, and he had some sickness and stuff in his family, so he had to pull out, which I totally get. So we're going for this. You already built it, looked like. I struggled, I'll be honest. I struggled with the dig, figuring out how that went. Not gonna lie. Everyone got to see it firsthand. The struggle was real. Oh wait, got that wrong. It was very real. Then my brain clicked when I started thinking about it. Took a hot minute though, not gonna lie. So, sometimes it's real, yeah. Yeah, the shock collars work pretty tight. I had the issue with the screws being too long going into that gear in the transmission that they fixed. But I had pulled out the TRX4M kit and I got a couple of them out of that, their screw kit. And then I ground down another one. Broke one of them off, so that was fun. Always like to do that with a new build. So debating whether or not I lock this out. So we want the micro servo. All right. We're just going to install this guy on here. And we'll put the micro servo on in a little bit. Because I don't have one over here. So I'll come back to that. Always leftover parts. Yes. Hey, Josh, did you have any leftover E-clips? So far I have 3, and I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. All right, everything seems to be good on that front there. Don't know that I love the way that I chose for the wires to come off of this. We'll find that out later. How many people run this? Is it worth it? If you don't go into water or anything crazy, do you need this? I'll be honest, on a lot of them, I just remove it and I don't put it back on. And I've run those trucks for years like that, no issues. Call me lazy. It was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I hear that. We ran into some other issues of not being able to get to this till now. But luckily we were able to get theirs done for them, so that was good. All right. This goes to the servo saver junk. We'll put all these pieces in here. This is the lockout bracket. If you wanted to, you could just slide this on here and screw that in like so. I probably should show off how this feature works, so maybe not. Maybe not do this for Axialfest. Maybe we'll use the dig. I've got micro servos. I've got plenty, so we put a Chihuahua or something on here. We'll see. All right, so that's good. Next is the steering link kit in part D1. D1, so this is ready to go. We chose the Furatech 1400 kV system, the big old one that has lots of magnets in order to have good drag brake. I had a smaller one I tried, and it did not have enough. That one is awesome. And it's quiet. Darwin. Oh, man. Who doesn't run in water? Well, maybe those Cali guys, because they don't have any water to run in. Shots fired. All right. So we're going to go to bag D. I'm feeling the crunch of having to get this done at this point. So all the spare parts from before, I'm just going to push over there so I know that they're spares. All right. Bag D. This is where the tools that I got from watching Josh and Matt come in super handy. Super duper handy. Shock pliers and the Special Team Garage Hack tool are going to be the best. Hey, Cody, you're back. Nope, we're not done yet. We had a little bit of a snafu. So D1. All the links are in the same bag. Guessing these are a 1-to-1 in the book, so we're just gonna believe that to be true. Sometimes you gotta believe. We're gonna use this cool tool. Drop this in here, like so. Now they have this little hole in here. You could put a driver into. I'm just gonna use trusty shock pliers. And these ones probably go in reverse. Yep. Because they're smart and they want you to be able to adjust the length on the fly. So we'll remember that. They're going to go opposite ways. Very axial racing of them from Axial Adventure to do that, where you can just put something into this hole and twist it and change the length of it on the fly. Very racing of them. Oh, snap. Bada boom. Yep, I'm going to measure it. It looks perfect. I did it off camera, so I know that all my measurements are exactly 59.50 millimeters, like they should be. Sure did. Reverse threads are stupid. Don't put the balls in. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, don't put the balls in before you, yes, before you screw them on. I think that's what he's saying. All right, so now we need the AXI234031, and it is 104.70 millimeters long. And I got lucky and guessed it right the first try. It's the really long one. It's the longest one. All right, then we're going to need some that curve like this. So threading these on probably won't be as easy with that tool. So, because I like to do things even though I probably shouldn't, we're going to try it anyway, because my hands will be very happy if I do figure out that it works. Oh, there's a little bit of a wiggle in it, but solid effort by that tool. This tool has earned a spot in my Smoke and Motors go bag with these bits here, all the driver bits. Uh-oh. Because it's so handy that I just always want to have it around, and I grab that bag all the time. So shock pliers go in it because you want to have these, and then a pair of needle nose go in, and then all of the tools for these drills go in. So that is our steering link setup, like a boss. All right, now we got to do the front track bar link, which is this wimpy little guy right here. And it's going to use these wimpy little black ones, looks like. These reverse threaded too. I'd be so disappointed. This one's going to be funky. If this actually works, I'll be very surprised. It totally works. Oh, it works. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy with life right now. Things are going in a positive direction now for the build that they were not going in about 30 minutes ago when I was struggling with that big unit. Hack time with Tony. Yeah, they didn't fit in the tool. Look, yeah, I get you now. Try and center that up. Reverse. Even reverse threaded this thing. And that is exactly 62 millimeters. You just, yep. Yeah. Same size as rock horns. Right. All the things you can learn during a super serious build with the one of the top premier RC car builders you can find on the interwebs right here. I'm always wanting to build stuff. It's my favorite. It's the best. Get to sleep in my room alone. Sorry. Just watched the what's that Jack Black movie called? Shoot, come on. I can't think of it. It'll come to me later when I'm not wanting it to think about it. Nacho Libre. Kurtz RC. You wish you could. Yeah, rockhorn measurement is the way to go. If you guys aren't doing rockhorn measurement, you have not lived. They throw down the measurements like so fast. So this one needs to be 69.9. Rockhorn measurement says it's good. All about precision. I don't know if the SCX10 Gladiator links will fit on the SCX10 II. I think that they should. Most of the, I mean, they'll be long, so you just have to do your body, but most of these rod ends are pretty similar in pillow ball sizes for sliding in there. So, I mean, I would kind of think it would work. I mean, don't quote me on it. This is the front upper suspension link. And now it's just a bunch of other things. 78 mil. I got to do 2 of these. There we go. The geometry will work. Yeah, the panhard's going to be all messed up. What are you trying to build? Are you just trying to strip it down so you don't have all the transmission stuff of the Gladiator original? Or are you just trying to do a longer chassis SCX10 II? Because you'll have to do a lot of mathing in that if you're going to get your geometry right. Oh, you're trying to do the Chevy Silverado body? Got it. Yeah, you're going to have to probably do a lot of custom links at that point if you're going to do that. Do I have a Pro built? I mean, I should have ordered this Pro built from Horizon. Is that what you're getting at? have it done right. You saying I can't build, Cody? Is that what you're saying? I see you. I'm going to see you in a couple weeks. A couple days, actually. I'm going to whoop your butt, too, in the racing. Just because of that. I'm coming with my A game. My super heavy custom chassis Rift is going to be tearing it up over there in super slow motion. Because every time you go fast, you wreck there. Should have had Harley build it for me. Yeah. That's probably the best way to do it. Man, that stuff that they were rocking with the Trucks of Freedom or whatever, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I didn't get in on it in time. Oh, that's not going on straight. That's got bad news written all over it. But if we just kind of, how can we do this? There's got to be a way. Just do it by hand. The Pro-Built SCX10iii, I do not have one. I will tell you something. I know this is an Axial build series. If Harley's still in here, I took the Vanquish to Horizon RC Fest with the hopes of making some videos crawling on the rocks there, because I knew I couldn't take it to Axialfest. And I did get to crawl it, and I made some pretty killer lines when I was competing against Weston, because everything that weekend was a competition with him. And I can't find my shot pliers. Oh, I'm an idiot. They're holding it. And it did awesome. But what was really crazy was I handed over the controllers to Bari Musauer and Ryan Anderson's kids just all weekend long. And they beat the snot out of that thing. I mean, it took the craziest abuse that you could imagine, and it just kept coming back for more. They'd just be like, hey, can you charge your batteries for us? And then they take it back out. And these are just like jagged rocks, like broken pieces of cement. And they were absolutely tearing it up. They took it in the mud pit there too. So, I mean, it's pretty amazing that it still looks really good. Didn't do anything to it. Just a testament to how well it was built. Floored quite a few people as they watched that thing just fall off the rocks and get driven into things at speeds that weren't really crawling speeds. They were like, 10-year-old basher monster truck driver kid speeds. It was hilarious. But yeah, the mud part was like, ugh, that was a little painful. And his dad loves stuff like clean and pristine. Like, he's the one that built that Bari build monster truck I have, the electric one, and it's just such a clean build. And he was like, you go clean that up right now. So it got cleaned up a little bit, but it did take on some mud. But came back running. Couldn't believe it. Cody, ready to race, bring it. But yeah, very, very impressed. I know my Ultras and all that have been awesome. You know, they got aluminum axles and whatnot. But to see what those axles took, holy cow. I mean, I knew they did pretty good anyway because we crashed them at 50 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, many times at 40 miles an hour plus, a couple times at 50. So we knew it was pretty good. But wow. Yeah, the mud wasn't until the last day either, so they kind of waited and came back a little dirty, but it really showed off what it could do. So it does need a good clean down. All right, these angled ones are a little bit of a pain. If you just use your driver, get through it, and you'll be all right. Then you got to use the rock horns to measure, as you remember. I'd say it's about 85.5 millimeters. Looking pretty good. I actually will throw these onto calipers before I put it on because they don't look exact. So they're not similar. So I will caliper those when I go back and get the working ones out of the studio or the other part of the house where they are. Or I bring a battery up to the ones up here. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be hot this week. If there's no rain though, we'll take it. That's been the thing of the other 2 years has been rain. First year was super hot that I went. And then I missed 1 year. It was super rainy. But I dealt with it because that's when I was looking at houses up here in Michigan. So we knew how rainy it was. And felt bad for you guys. But I'll deal with the heat. It gets really hot in the quarry, that's for sure. We're going to be camping there. We'll have parts there. We're going to run the mini comp there. Just like we did at Horizon RC Fest. We're going to do a carnival comp, we're calling it. It's kind of the name we gave it. Carnival comp rules, which is fastest time. Gate hits are 10-second penalties. And the any handed gods are 15-second penalties. No reverse penalties, nothing like that. Just gates in your hand. Keeping it simple. You got a build going for your for Axialfest? But Fast Eddie made some money that year. He had to get him bearings for everything. Yeah, it would make the minis really tough. Not a lot of people run waterproof stuff for the minis. I know it's not the main event, main attraction, but it would definitely make it tricky. Again, not being the main attraction is why we call it the carnival comp. Kind of in the essence or the vein of all the other comps that they do. They're just kind of for a good time. And you get 75 seconds added if you're not having a good time. because of the rules of the game. Shots fired. Shots fired. I'm going to actually tap that and put it up there. We're going to stick the 24 scale world on him in his next live stream. He's going to have to monitor those comments pretty tightly. It's going down. Yeah, this was the other one. That was a 2300 kV. Much smaller motor than the one I'm using. Speed was good. Control was still really good, low speed. There just wasn't the magnetic power for my heavy truck to not drag it down. So we're going to do the bigger one for that reason. All right, so those links are all done. Now it wants us to make drive shafts. That's never too bad. You're actually pretty lucky because during your live stream, I'll probably already be at Axialfest and I won't be able to really give it to you. We may even be out doing the one-to-ones at that point. I don't know. You got lucky this time. All right. Oh, that's warm. Not good. Not good warm. Ah. Now, this is where two-time Tony can get into trouble, is building these drive shafts. I have the feeling that there's going to be some mistakes made by some. That could be problematic. So we'll do one of them off camera. Just to see how bad we're doing. And then maybe we'll do it on camera again. The Croc Mobile. Oh, speaking of Croc Mobile, Crocs are the perfect shoe for wearing at Axialfest. Anyone who says different is wrong. Just letting you know. All right, I remembered how to build them. That wasn't bad. That weren't bad at all. All right. Yeah, we'll do one perfect off camera, and then we'll build them right. Build them wrong when we get them on camera. So that's just how things are, John Martin. You are very correct. So we need some thread locker, my favorite tool. Made by the company that the tool works for. If Vanquish wants to get into the 124 scale game, you know, just give me a call, Josh, and we can talk. We start raking in the money at 124 scale money. Get the ready to run going. All right, so what we're doing is, for those watching, there's this little guy here. It slides through. We got to make sure that the hole is facing up, so it's see-through. And we're going to slide this over and put a pin through it, lock it all in place. Bam. Right? I'm going to slide one of these guys over. And I just go ahead and thread one of these in so I don't have it slide out just a little bit. And then that piece you built is going to go right in there. Then we put a screw in from the other side with a little Loctite, and we call it good. We got a bunch more of these to make, although I'm not seeing the pins for them. So don't know what that's about. Maybe they were in a previous bag. So there. Like that, and then you'll end up putting one of the other ones in with the same thing built on the other side. But like I said, I only got 2 pins in the kit. And it says I need 4 of them. And I dumped everything directly onto here. Bag D1. We're in bag E. Here's one of them. Let's see if we might have a pin in something else here. Otherwise, we might be cutting one of our own. Where's all my screw pieces? I got a bunch of different little screw bags up here. Random pieces get thrown in them. There's a pin, but it's way too big. Cool. Going through my trash right now to see if there's a little pin sitting in here that may have rode in the bag and then fell in. Just like a needle in a haystack moment right here. And I have the bag on the table here. Huh, all right, well, we're going to keep building, but we're missing a pin. And it's more than likely my fault. Yeah, because I have 2 more to build. Probably didn't come out of the bag. Well, I have the bag here and it's empty. Should be a spare in the last bag. I was about to start looking in my Vanquish build kit. So this is the last bag with all the little extras, I think. Looks like there's some spares in here. Some things. Some clips, some motor screws. G1 has a bunch of things in here. But I don't see a pin like that. Maybe the wrong spare bag. Who needs front wheel drive on a truck? Let's just send this thing. Now, but in a pinch, I've done this before. It'd be even better if I had clippers. But because these bend so easy, it's not really a good sign for it. Manhandled that thing. One thing that's going to go on the trail. Who can already guess what's going to be my fail point on this truck? Got to make sure we put this one on the front. Front load that bad boy. That was close to the right size. Luckily, it's an easy part to fix. So I will order the right part so that I'll have it ready for the weekend, or I'll go and see if they got it at the local shop here. And that is way small. Way small, Smalls. Oh, okay. But it's the right length now, so that's at least something. We're moving in the right direction. Oh, it's not the right size. I lied. Still too long. Dang it. Still too long. Just get the trio knuckles. They go on sale every now and then. All right. What's your opinion on the kit so far? It actually, I haven't minded it until my own mistake here, and I lost a piece. But the shocks were easy. The shocks were easy. Yeah, for the most part, the transmission's easy. The dig was the hardest part for me to figure out, and I just needed to just keep following the directions and not worry about it. And I was sitting there trying to look at the gears and say, dude, those things look like they should totally lock together, but they didn't need to until it pulled it back and actually did the dig feature, which is my own fault for, yeah, not just following through and building the truck. So, yeah, I mean, it's been great. This is, again, my fault. So this is not a axial problem, what I'm dealing with right now. I just was careless. I thought I put everything out of the bag, and apparently I didn't. So I've got a really sloppy, very sloppy drive shaft. I'm just going to go with it for now, and I'll fix it later this week. Get the part ready. Just order drive shafts and the screws and pin kit for them and have spares. Wow, overshot that. But yeah, so far, pretty good. And I'm hoping there will be a pin that I'll find at some point in this, and I'll just swap it out. So it's pretty obvious which one it is. There's a lot of play, and the one that has the body post. So and I'm missing a screw, which was definitely not in the bag. Here it is. You are done, RC Jeremy. Bear says he'll bring me a spare one. Awesome. Are they the same screws as the body post screws? That's not what I lost. I lost the actual pin that just slides through. But again, we'll just go with it for now. Easy. Of all the things for me to get wrong, this is the easiest to fix later, in my opinion. Taking off the drive shafts, not hard. So, just gonna make sure I don't do it on the transmission side. We'll do it on the axle side, and should be good. So the longer of them will be to the rear. So we'll put it, it's on the rear one. Oh well, again, fixable. But the rear side is gonna be toward here. We'll pull out these screws that we just temporarily set in. Lined up on here. I actually like the transmission build quite a bit. Very simple compared to the SCX10iii Jeep that I built. Way easier. Way easier to build. Don't feel like I'm threading it to the right side. That's why. What's going on, Dirk? So there's that. And then I'll do the matched side up at the top. So they both match coming off the drive. How many people in the chat prefer building kits? To taking it ready to run and upgrading it? There we go. So we're feeling pretty good with where we're at so far in the build. Now I feel like there's just some assembly to do. We'll have to measure all of our links to make sure they're the same and the right length on everything. But basically, we're moving on to bag F, which is getting us close to the end because G is body post. So F and then the chassis rails should be getting us close. Kurtz RC wish all were kits. Kits. David Ferris likes both. You know what? I should look and make sure it's not stuck to a motor. Alright. Be very careful to make sure I get all of the screws out of the bags this time. Brian Morrison says hopes to build one of these soon, but his Vanquish is coming tomorrow. Awesome. I have an AX24 kit to build next. So after I'm done with this tonight, I will be heading over and working on that. I heard something hit the floor. Are you kidding me? Well, this size screw I've got extras of. Not gonna worry about it. If we come up and miss something, I'm not gonna cry. All right, here we go. And it could have been something else. Who knows? All right, looks like we're gonna be needing parts out of this bag. Here, which does not have a letter on it, sub-numbering. Some of them are sub-numbered, some of them aren't. Kind of an interesting way of doing it, because you think that the numbered bags, like the E1, F1, whatever, would correspond with the numbers on the pages, but they don't, and the screws don't either. So you might be getting screws from F2 that go into part F1, but the bag says F1, so you think it's got everything you need. That's the only part that I feel like could be revisited as to the convention for that, but I mean, it's not bad. It could be way worse. Let's just say that. So it looks like something like this is what we need for F1. We need front upper link mount assembly. So those are steering. Upper link was this. I also have so much going on with the filming stuff up here too that it makes it a bit annoying because I can't have my book flat. Just a little bit annoying because you want to measure off of it. Yeah, these reverse threads are going to kill me. Right, so that looks good based on the book, using it for my measurement. And then we're supposed to put it into that piece that I just had here. And it shows it going into the lower hole. But again, we're going to take our pieces. There's a ton of screws in here. And we're just going to put them over on the book and measure. Oh, it's too short. It's more like this. So all I'm doing, for those that haven't done it, is just using this as my guide. And that is the same length. So I did that too. You can see they're spaced off a little bit there. They've got it unthreaded just a little bit. We use that measurement by putting that link right up on there as well, and using that for our measurement. We'll do one more. Oh, not a fan of these reverse threads. I know which way they're going to go when they're normal. I don't know which way with this. All right. So this screws in from this side. It's going to have to tap in, which seems to be something that is happening a lot these days. I don't know if that was normal, but both sides have to tap as they go in. So if you're doing this by hand, good luck. Buy a tool. Again, it's going in this bottom one. Get started. And if you got Popeye forearms, maybe you'll be all right. You'll be able to handle the whole kit in a sitting. If you don't, God, this is going to suck. I'm used to doing this when it's on the vehicle. I don't know. Kind of weird that it's doing it off the vehicle like this, but whatever. All right. I guess because how it's going to mount in there, it's a pain to get to. I hope it's not a dumb way to have to remove them. That would not be fun. Oh boy. We'll see. We will see. We will see. So these are labeled 1 and 2. Looks like these flat sides go to the outsides here. And then we're going to be doing the rear upper links. That one's good. That one's good. All right. So these go, this side goes in. And again, it shows it going to the bottom hole. And our screw is coming from this inside. So not the side that has the flat edge, but the side that has the number. Kind of weird building it this way. This is normally a part that's attached to the actual skid plate. Normally. So I wonder, so we attach this to the skid plate later. I wonder if then we can't access this. I'm not saying that that is the case. I'm just wondering out loud why they're having us build it ahead of time instead of just putting these onto the skid plate, and then when you have something to help fight the torque and get this all lined up ahead of time. And I've just never put links on this way before. I missed it. All right, we'll go to a hand driver and see if that's easier. Now that it's started. King of RC going to be at Badlands? Possibly. I missed it again. Let's see if we can force it over it. All right, so this is the first part of the build I question. The rest makes sense, like once you figure it out. This is really hard because the screw is actually working this out as you're doing it. It's kind of weird. All right, so now that it seems to be threaded through, we'll move back to our driver. Man, I sure hope I'm doing those right, because interesting. That's all I can say is interesting. Interesting choice on this. From a non-builder, I'm saying this is an interesting choice. The one's going to the inside. Just going to pre-drill this. Get a start on it. Too short. There it is. All right. Going to go into this lower side of this one. In the same way, same number side where the number 1 is. Get it threaded. Back it out. And then make sure we have everything turned the right way. I just look in the manual. Hopefully get this threading going. Is there a hotel close to Badlands? The closest hotels there, I think there's like a lot of Airbnbs nearby, but the closest hotels are about 20 minutes outside, either way of it, north or south. All right. So those are proper. Now we put them on the skid plate after. So the front one is this one, and it's obvious because there's only one. And it looks like it totally would have been able to do it while it was on here. Huh. Weird. That's all I gotta say about that is huh. Huh. So, if I'm telling people as they're building this right now, I would say put the pieces on proper. You got a 1 on this side, got the 2 for the rear one, and then the 2 for the, or a 1 for the back one, which are matching with the front. 1, 2, 1. I would just think and put these on. Seems like it'd be way easy. Maybe because they're getting your drill in here. That's probably why. But I got round heads. Oh well. Sometimes you just don't question things. You just roll with it. I question it though. Measuring some screws here, trying to get the right ones. And once I have a couple, then we'll be able to use those. Their template. All right, so there's our there's 2 different sizes that we're going to use here. And we need 3 of each size, so we'll just get them set aside here. and then we'll start putting it all together. It was just kind of awkward trying to put those together. That's all I'll say. It's not going to make it bad or anything. It's just from the builder's standpoint, it was hard to kind of handle everything. It still didn't take super long, as you just saw, but all right. So there's 3 short ones, and it's pretty obvious where those go because they're shorter. They're the ones that are dropped in. They're sunk a little. So let's do that for all of them. Get them locked in place for now. And then we'll go back and do the long screws. And then there's going to be side ones that go in. So these are going to be really buttoned in here. I wonder why they chose to do it this way versus just having it molded in like in the past. Maybe to make those screws easier to get at if you are putting your links in, because it is kind of up at an angle in there to get to. And that may, if you're trying to start it and drive it straight, that may be problematic as well. I don't know. All right, when in doubt, leave it out. Hey, Jeff Brown, what's up, man? I mean, this one you can definitely get to the screw hole on the skid. This one I can come in from the side here. This one too. Huh. Yeah, I guess because the way they lock all this in, keep it nice and tight, and it's going to be right in the frame rails. That's probably why. Hatfields are done? No. Jeff, yeah, getting ready for more crawlers at the course. All right, so then there's some long side ones that go in. That's not long enough. This one's longer. This one looks like the right one. Just make sure that we have enough. There's 4. We need 4 of them. That's not as long. Wow, there's so many that are so close in length. So I think that first one I actually pulled out is the wrong. I think they're too long. Too short. Maybe this one. All right, back to the book. These 4 are the right ones. And those are going to hold our lower links, which are not all the same size. They don't seem to care on this one to show that the shorter ones are the front ones. So on all the other ones, they kind of gave links to know which ones. This one, you got to know that's your front arm and that that's your rear, and that the longer ones are going to go for the rear. intuitive enough, and I'm almost doing it wrong. Maybe I should be quiet. All right, so I'm going to I lost one. I'm going to pre-drill. Oh, no, they just push through. Okay, good. That's the other thing is, like, the upper ones didn't do that. Typically, you have it where you just get it in line, and then you kind of push it in, and it holds it in place. You don't have to thread through the first part of it like you did on these ones. Normally, your outside you can push through, and then it threads the other side. Anyway, just that whole upper part was weird to me. A little bit. There it is. Tight. But it makes it way easier when you can get it set like that. And you saw how I was having the problem with it torquing and all that and moving out of the right place. You don't have that issue when you can push it through the first part. And thread it in for the second. There we go. Now the fronts, same deal. Find where I moved those screws. There's one. And two. All right. Measure one on the book. Use that to measure the other. There are quite a few that are very similar in size, and so that's why I use in the book to make sure I get it. There's like 3 of the really long ones, 3 different sizes. So just making sure I have it right, so I'm not 22-timing anymore. My count is currently still at 3 because I don't count that lost piece as a 2-time. That's just an unfortunate mishap. I didn't put it in wrong and have to redo it, so. We just had to improvise a trail fix on a new kit build. Hey, what's going on, Lyle? How's it going, man? Oh, Michigan's and the Atlas coming to reaction. There we go. Still not having us do the transmission yet. So we're just going to kind of be here, and then we're going to jump over and start doing shock or servo mounting. All right, so servos, somewhere in the world I have a Reefs 400, the USTE one, and I cannot find it. But I do have one of these I can put in for now. The JX 46 kilogram. Or I've got this KST, which is a fast one, and it's at 46 kilogram at high voltage at 0.07 seconds. So super fast at 8.4 volts. Maybe do this one. High lifespan version, the X20. If I remember, the last one I had chattered a little bit. With the metal servo horn in there. Let's give it a go, see what happens. They sent this to me to try out, so we'll try it out. I think I'd be more likely to use this in a basher typically, but I put my basher motors in my other ones. We got the raw 500 in one, so I don't know. Let's see what it does. Doesn't hurt to try. All right, so we got this. Going here. It's like we have to put this in to adjust it for this side. So there's this adjustable little mount for your servos. Gives you a little flex room. One, just a little button head you gotta find, and lots of screws in this one. Lots of screws to search. All right, got it. Well, you got to get one this size. Gotta figure it out. So this is the very screw heavy portion of the build. So now we get to set it up how we need it. And that's pretty cool, actually. I like this little slider because we're a little off where I just was. I can drop it in there and get it exactly centered perfect. Cool. This is a plastic servo mount, and it has room for 3 servos on here. Crazy. You could make your rig very expensive very quickly right here in the front of the vehicle. That's all I'm going to say. You know what? I'm not messing around with this. Let's just pre-screw this in here. You know what I need up here is a magnet, a little magnetic wand. That might help me out. Again, so many of these have to thread in, but these big fat ones are the ones that they have set up for the servos. All right, so slide that in. Well, you know what? That's gonna work, but I'm gonna pre-drill it. Pre-drill all 4 so that it'll wanna just set in there when we're ready for it. Because you can see they just kind of walk the screws. Or you could take like a body reamer and kind of open it up a little bit. Oh. I am getting tired. Another moving piece. That does make it weird to work with. It'll be fine once we lock it in. We'll lock down one front one, then we'll lock down a back one. And then we can lock that part in place. All right, that's frustrating to do. It's got to be frustrating to watch me trying to figure out how to get these in place. I think part of my problem is I know I'm against the clock. Like if I could just take my time with the build, I think I would appreciate some of this more than I'm appreciating it now, because I'm trying to get this done for something that's coming up very soon. And I leave very soon. Alright. That's good. I don't see enough of these. .109 screws. It's saying 1 used, but they're showing 4. I guess I do have a few left from the motor. Oh wait, here's another one. And then I have the leftover from the motor I can use. There it goes. The phone's probably almost dead. Plug it back in. All right, so that's a servo mount. It's an adjustable piece, so let's make sure it's tight now. Good. Then it's going to show us using their servo arm, which they've got several of them here in metal. And they've got this metal arm. So they kind of want us to attach all of this, it looks like right now. Who else is terrible about losing the spare ones? Like, if we're getting a spare one in here, I guarantee I lose this. Guaranteed. All right. Now I should center this, but I don't have power up here right now, so we're not going to. But we will take care of it later. I promise. All right. That. Oh, they gave us a screw for it. A185. A little longer than that one. Looks like it'll be this one. Okay, so they gave us a screw to use for our servo horn because it is. I was sitting there getting something else. I did not want to use the one that came with it, that's for sure. It had a Phillips head. All right, so I didn't thread lock it because we're going to be changing that later. And so it didn't make sense to. All right, next they're showing this piece. And we're going to take that funky, thin piece that we did. It looks like it attaches to the back of this. The 109 length. It's too long. That looks like the one. All right, so this should have thread lock. We're going into metal. And I don't plan to remove this. So, wow, we're going almost on 3 hours here. Plus our hour earlier, so we're 4 hours in. All right. This, and then they want us to go into one of the upper arms. Another F bag, F2, in case we need it later. All right, so here it is. This is the bag I'm looking for. What's going on, guys? In the chat. Much longer much longer threads than I've been able to read as I've been going. But welcome, Reckless Remote Control. I like the name. All right. One of these guys. Sure looks like this one. As far as the shaping. Yep. So this arm is going to attach right in there. So you'll be able to see how it kind of fits on. Boom. And then we're going to we're going into plastic here. Looks like they got ready to receive the thread, a little extra. It's just a short, very short little screw. And that's attached now. All right. At this point, we start doing a little bit more craziness. I think this is more than I want to get into for the time being. We're going to get the arms, start putting everything together sideways. I feel like we need a little bit of a break here. So we've been going for 3 hours. If I get into this, it's going to be quite a bit. I think that my best bet is to try to finish tomorrow. See how many more pages we have. Looks like kind of final assembly stuff. It's quite a bit of steps. But most of it's just screwing things in. So, yeah. I think the best bet is to maybe just take a little break. Take a little break, and it's going on 10:30. I've got other things to get to, unfortunately. I've got another unboxing I have to do tonight, so I got to do that and then try to whip up the video for that in the morning, get a little bit of crawl time with it. So, yeah, it's a lot that I'm trying to get done before Axialfest. It's a bit crazy, and I'm running out of time. So, tomorrow there will be another live, and I'm going to kind of keep going through this. I figured I might as well do it live, show people that want to really get into it, even some of the struggles that I had along the way. All of them were solvable except for the one piece that I lost. And then there was that one little hiccup I had in there that you guys again won't have because they've addressed the issue. And before any of them went out, they swapped it out. So and that was something to do with the gear and the screw length on that. So all that's been fixed, and you guys will have an awesome time through that. You won't have that little slowdown I had with the grinder, but should be painless. For the most part, it hasn't been bad except for the few little hang-ups that I had. The lost part was the biggest, I think, hang-up, other than figuring out how the dig unit worked. And once that, I was doing it right, but I didn't feel like I was because the pieces felt like they should fit together, and I wasn't thinking about how the dig unit would pull it and make it fit. So yeah, I'm gonna go over, probably hit the Cricut, do up some stickers for the painted body, move forward with that, try to get that ready so that tomorrow I can start working on finishing this up so I can put it in the camper and get ready to leave in the morning on Wednesday to head down to Axialfest. It's probably going to feel like rest when I get there because I'll have worked so hard up to it that even though it's going to be crazy there and busy, it'll probably be more relaxing than here. It's been absolute, this month has been brutal, in a good way. Like in that there's a lot happening and it's all good and you don't want to say no to any of it. And I actually had to say no to something that was very big, and yeah, it wouldn't have worked. So, and then we had family in town this weekend, so I've been working around that, staying up. Like after everyone would go to bed, I'd get working on things and printing off papers for the comp and all that. So yeah, it's a thing. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Some of you guys for a very, very long time here. 2 hours and 50 minutes of me just wrenching and blabbering my mouth and trying to keep up with the comments. So, Curtis D, what's up, guy? Mr. Cataract. Yeah, we were building one. We're going to take a break. So, we're going to pick it up in the morning. So, I've got a few things I have to do first in the morning for editing and trying to get something out the door, which I'm going to go shoot now. And then edit what I can, and I have to do some crawling with it, and then opinions, and then add that to the edit that I already have. So wish me luck. See you guys.